Divorced men? When the woman from your nightmares reappeared at the door and you kicked her out? Story 1. 3 years after the divorce, I was finally sleeping through the night. No more 3 a.m. texts. No more surprise accidental drive-bys. No more I'm sorry speeches that turned into blame the second I didn't clap. Then, on a rainy Tuesday, my doorbell rang. I opened the door and my stomach dropped like I'd missed a step on stairs. Her. Hair darker, lipstick too perfect. The same calm face she used right before she lit a match in my life. Hey, she said softly, like we were old friends. I just needed to talk. Behind her was a suitcase. Not a purse. A suitcase. I didn't even ask why. My body answered for me. No. Her smile flickered. Please. I don't have anywhere else. I laughed. One sharp sound. That's not my problem anymore. She leaned closer, lowering her voice. You don't understand what I've been through. I raised my hand. Stop. Don't start the new villain story. I remember the last one. And the one before that. Her eyes flashed. So you're just going to slam the door in my face? After everything I did for you? There it was. The hook. The bait. The same line that always dragged me back into her storm. I stepped onto the porch so she couldn't wedge her foot inside like she used to. You didn't do things for me. You did things to me, she scoffed. Oh my God, you're still on that therapy speak. Listen, I said, voice shaking but steady. You are not coming in. You are not coming back. If you don't leave, I'm calling the police. She stared at me like she couldn't compute the word no coming from my mouth. Then she tried the final weapon. Tears. Instant, dramatic, shaking hands. I loved you. I still love you. I pointed at the suitcase. That's not love. That's a plan. Her face hardened. You're going to regret this. I nodded. Maybe. But I'm going to regret it in my own house without you in it. I turned, went inside, locked the deadbolt, then the chain. I watched through the peephole as she stood there, frozen, waiting for the old version of me to appear, apologizing, explaining, rescuing. Instead, she grabbed the suitcase and walked away. And for the first time in years, my hands stopped shaking before I even sat down. Story 2. I thought my woman from my nightmares was gone for good after the divorce. She got the house in the settlement, I got my freedom, and we both promised no contact. So imagine me, 6 months later, opening my apartment door to see her standing there, holding a casserole dish like she was a suburban mom in a sitcom. Hi, she said brightly. I made your favorite. I blinked. How do you know where I live? She waved her hand like it was nothing. Relax. I asked your sister. My chest tightened. My sister. The same sister my ex used to charm, then turn into her personal spy. Of course. I'm busy, I said, already trying to close the door. She slid her foot forward. Not hard, just enough. That old trick. Come on, she whispered. Can we talk like adults? I'm trying to be mature about everything. Mature, I repeated, staring at her foot in my doorway. Move your foot. She smiled like I was being silly. Don't be like this. My neighbor's door opened across the hall. An older woman walking her dog. My ex's eyes flicked to her, and her whole face softened into, I'm harmless. That's when I realized she wasn't here for me. She was here for an audience. So I raised my voice, just enough. You need to leave my apartment. Now. Her smile froze. Why are you yelling? I'm not yelling, I said louder. I'm telling you to leave. The neighbor slowed, watching. My ex shifted instantly into victim mode, clutching the casserole dish like it was a baby. I just wanted to apologize. I thought we could be civil. I took a step back and pulled out my phone. You have 10 seconds before I call building security. Her eyes narrowed. Seriously? 10, she hissed, dropping the sweet act. You're embarrassing me. You came to my door, I said. With your foot in it. She yanked her foot back like it burned. Fine. Keep being dramatic. Everyone told me you'd turn cold. The neighbor's dog barked. My ex flinched, and for a second I saw the real her, angry, calculating, humiliated. She shoved the casserole dish into my hand so hard it sloshed. Enjoy eating alone. I set it on the floor outside my door and gently pushed it back toward her with my foot. Take it with you. The neighbor made a quiet, oh. My ex's face went scarlet. She grabbed the dish, muttered something ugly under her breath, and stormed down the hallway. I shut the door, locked it, and immediately texted my sister. Do not give her my address ever again. Then I threw the deadbolt like I was sealing a tomb. Story 3. The nightmare version of my ex wasn't the yelling. It wasn't even the cheating. It was the way she could show up smiling and rewrite reality until I didn't trust my own brain. That's why, when she appeared at my door on Christmas Eve, holding a tiny gift bag, my first thought was, oh no, not this again. Hey, she said. I just wanted to drop something off. I didn't move aside. For who? For you, she said, eyes glittering. It's small. It's sentimental. I stared at the bag like it might bite. You're not supposed to be here. She sighed dramatically. I know. But it's Christmas, and I'm trying to be kind. Kind. The word she used right before she asked for something. What do you want? I asked. Her smile faltered. Nothing. I'm just alone this year. There it was. The setup. I'm sorry to hear that, I said, not stepping back. But I'm not your solution. Her jaw tightened. I thought you'd be different now. More grown up. I actually laughed. You mean easier to manipulate? Her eyes flicked over my shoulder. Is that her? My girlfriend had walked into the hallway behind me, holding a mug of cocoa. She wasn't dramatic, just present. Calm. Real. My ex's face changed instantly like someone swapped masks. Oh, so that's why. My girlfriend started to turn away politely, but I reached back and took her hand. A small choice. A loud message. This is my home, I said to my ex. You can leave. My ex's voice went icy. I came here to be nice. I nodded toward the gift bag. Then leave it and go. She didn't. Her fingers tightened around it. I just wanted to see if you'd regret it. If you'd miss us. There is no us, I said. She took a step forward anyway. I could make you happy again. My girlfriend squeezed my hand once, like she was anchoring me, and something in me snapped. Not in anger, but in clarity. You made me afraid in my own house, I said. Get off my property. Her eyes widened, offended like I'd slapped her. Wow, you've really changed. Yes, I said, finally stepping forward, toward the door frame, blocking it. That's the point. She stared at my girlfriend, then at me, then forced a laugh. Good luck. You'll see. I opened the door wider, not inviting but commanding. Out. She stood there one last second, like she expected the old me to apologize. When I didn't, she tossed the bag onto my porch like trash and walked away. My girlfriend picked it up, looked inside, and held up a photo of me and my ex, ripped clean down the middle. She didn't ask questions. She just put it back in the bag, set it outside, and said, Want cocoa? I said yes. And for the first time, Christmas didn't feel like a trap. Story 4. My divorce was finalized on a Friday. By Monday, my ex had already posted a healing journey video about how she was escaping narcissistic abuse. I didn't fight it online. I just disappeared. New city, new number, new life. 2 years later, I hear a knock at my door at 8:17 p.m. Not a friendly knock, a confident knock. I open it, and there she is. Like she teleported out of my worst memory. Wearing a long coat, lashes perfect, eyes scanning my living room like she's inspecting a hotel room she's thinking of booking. Hi, she said. I found you. My heart went cold. How? She grinned. Do you really want the details? Or do you want to stop pretending you're not happy to see me? I didn't answer. I just kept my hand on the door edge, ready to slam it. She tilted her head. I'm in trouble. I need somewhere to stay. I stared at her. No. Her face twitched. What? No, I repeated. You're not coming in. She laughed like I'd told a joke. You can't be serious. I'm serious, I said. Leave. Her voice sharpened. After everything I sacrificed, I cut her off. You didn't sacrifice. You took. She stepped forward like she was going to push past me. Move. I didn't move. I pulled my phone up so she could see the screen. I'm recording. That stopped her. Her eyes narrowed like a predator spotting a fence. Recording what? Everything, I said. And if you don't leave, I'm calling the police and my lawyer. Her mouth opened, closed. Then her tone switched to sweet again, like flipping a light. Babe, don't do this. I'm scared. I felt the old instinct. Fix it. Calm her. Make the scene go away. But I looked at her hands. No shaking. No real fear. Just performance. So I did the one thing that always shattered her. I stayed boring. I don't care, I said. Go. She stared at me like I'd turned into a stranger. You're heartless. I nodded. If that's what it takes to be safe. She stood there, frozen, waiting for me to crack. I didn't. Finally, she took a slow step back, smiling with pure spite. I'll tell people you threw me out. I shrugged. Tell them the truth too. You showed up uninvited, and I said no. Her smile collapsed. She spun around and walked off my porch. The second my door shut, my knees went weak. Not because I missed her. Because I realized I'd just survived the final boss of my life without losing myself. Story 5. I'd trained myself for the moment my ex might reappear. Like living with a fire alarm you can't turn off. I didn't expect it to happen on the day my mother got out of the hospital. I pulled into my driveway, exhausted, carrying a bag of prescriptions and a bouquet of welcome home flowers. And there she was, sitting on my front steps, like she lived there. She stood up slowly when she saw me. Hey, I heard about your mom. I froze. How did you hear about my mom? She gave a sad little smile. People talk. I came to support you. Support. From her. The woman who once screamed at my mom for taking my attention. I walked past her toward the door. Move, she stepped in front of me, blocking my key from reaching the lock. I just want 5 minutes. My hand clenched around the flowers hard enough to bend the stems. You don't get 5 minutes. Her eyes flicked to the bag. Is that medication? Are you taking care of her alone? Yes, I said. And you're making it harder. She reached out like she was going to touch my arm. Like she owned comfort. I could help. I've changed. I took a step back. Don't touch me. Her face tightened. Wow, you're still angry. I'm not angry, I said. I'm done. She tried another angle, softer voice. Look, I messed up, but we were family. I cut her off. My mother is inside resting. If you raise your voice or knock on that door, I will call the police. Her eyes widened like I was the crazy one. You'd do that to me? I stared at her, dead calm. Yes, that word hit her harder than any insult. Because it meant she no longer controlled the script. She glanced at the windows, then leaned in and whispered, You think you're so tough now? You're still the same man who begged me not to leave. I swallowed once. I felt the old shame rise, like a hand around my throat. Then I did something I'd never done before. I smiled. Yeah, I said quietly. And you're still the same woman who came back only when you needed something. Her mouth opened. No comeback ready. I pointed toward the street. Get off my property. She stood there, stunned, like the air had changed. Then she snapped, Fine. You'll regret this when you're alone. I turned the key in the lock and opened the door without looking at her. I'm not alone, and I meant it. Not because someone was waiting for me, but because I finally had myself. I stepped inside, locked the door, and watched through the peephole as she stood on the porch, furious. Then she kicked my flower pot on the way out. Perfect ending, really. She couldn't even leave without trying to break something. Story 6. She showed up at 2:11 a.m., like a bad dream that learned how to drive. I wasn't even asleep yet, just sitting on the couch, TV muted, staring at my phone like it might explode. The divorce had been final for a year, but my body still flinched at every notification. Then, knock, knock, knock. Not a polite knock, a claim. I checked the peephole and my stomach folded in on itself. Her hair was wet, mascara smeared, a hoodie 2 sizes too big. Classic, I'm broken, save me costume. I opened the door only with the chain on. What do you want? Her eyes lit up like she'd won a prize. I knew you'd open. I didn't ask that. She tried to push the door. The chain snapped tight. Babe, please. I'm not safe. I stared at her hands. No shaking. No panic. Just pressure. Call 911, I said. Her face twitched. Don't do that. It's not like that. Then it's not my problem. She inhaled, and her voice dropped into that intimate whisper she used to control me. He kicked me out. I have nowhere to go. Just let me in for one night. One night. That's how it always started. One night turned into a week. Turned into me apologizing for things I didn't do. I pointed at the door camera. You're on video. Leave. Her eyes flashed. You installed cameras? Yes, I said. Because of you. For a second, she looked genuinely offended, like I'd accused her of a crime she'd committed proudly. Then she switched tactics instantly, loud sobbing. You're really going to let me freeze out here? What kind of man? I raised my voice so the hallway could hear. You need to leave my door. Now. 2 doors down, a light flicked on. That's what she wanted. Witnesses. But witnesses don't help when the story doesn't go your way. She hissed through fake tears. You're humiliating me. No, I said, calm. You're doing that. I pulled out my phone and dialed anyway. She saw the screen, 911, and her tears evaporated like magic. Are you serious? She snapped. Yep. She backed away fast, wiping her face, suddenly furious and dry-eyed. Fine. Enjoy being alone. I didn't answer. I just shut the door and locked it. A minute later, my camera caught her standing there again, staring at the door like she expected it to reopen. It didn't. And I slept for the first time in months. Story 7. The nightmare wasn't that she'd come back. The nightmare was that she'd come back with a reason that sounded noble. I was carrying groceries in when I heard a soft voice behind me. Hey, can we talk? I turned and there she was in my driveway, holding a manila folder like she worked for the court. My heart started sprinting. What is that? She lifted the folder. Important. I didn't walk closer. Say it. She sighed like I was being difficult. I found something. About our marriage. About what you don't know. I laughed once, sharp. You mean another secret you saved for leverage? Her lips pressed together. Don't be cruel. I'm trying to do the right thing. The right thing. Coming from her felt like hearing a shark talk about vegetarianism. I pointed at my front door. Put it in the mailbox and leave. She stepped forward. No. I need to give it to you personally. I could smell her perfume even from 6 feet away. Same scent she wore the night she emptied our savings account by accident. I said, back up. Her eyes narrowed. You're scared of me? Yes, I said, honest. And that's why you're dangerous. Her jaw clenched. I came here to help you. I shook my head. You came here to be needed. You only show up when you're losing control. She took a breath, then opened the folder like she was unveiling evidence. Your current girlfriend. She's been messaging my friend. I thought you'd want to know. My stomach dropped. Then I realized the trap. Make me doubt someone. Isolate me. Put herself back in the center. I looked at the folder and didn't reach for it. Who is your friend? She hesitated half a second. Does it matter? That half second told me everything. I pulled my phone out and started recording. Say it again. Her eyes widened. Why are you recording? Because you're lying, I said, and you hate receipts. She snapped the folder shut. Wow, so paranoid. I nodded toward the street. Leave. She didn't move. You're really going to treat me like this? After I tried to protect you? I pointed at my security sign. You're on camera too. Leave my property. Her face flushed with rage. Fine. Keep trusting strangers. You'll come crawling back when she ruins you. I smiled, small and cruel. If she ruins me, it'll still be better than you saving me. She stood there, stunned, then turned and marched away, folder tucked under her arm like a failed weapon. That night, I told my girlfriend what happened. She said, who cares? She's blocked, and I realized my ex had brought a folder to start a war. I didn't even open it. Story 8. I thought she couldn't surprise me anymore. Then she showed up at my door with cookies and my favorite sweater, like she'd been shopping inside my memories. Hi, she said, smiling too brightly. I was cleaning and found this. Thought you'd want it back. The sweater was the one I wore when I proposed. My throat tightened. Pure reflex. I kept my face blank. You kept it, she shrugged. Sentimental. Of course. She collected my sentimental stuff like trophies. Proof that I once loved her so she could use it later. I don't want it, I said. Her smile faltered. Don't be dramatic. I pointed to the cookies. And what are those? She lifted the plate. I baked. I remembered you liked the edges a little crispy. I stared at the cookies and felt the old nausea. She hadn't baked in our entire marriage. Not once. This wasn't kindness. This was theater. What do you want? I asked again. Her eyes softened, voice turning low. I miss you. I nodded slowly. Okay. Leave. She blinked. That's it? That's it. Her expression cracked, anger peeking through. You don't even want to talk? No. She stepped closer like she could physically force the conversation. I changed. I leaned against the doorframe, calm. If you changed, you'd respect no. She looked at the inside of my apartment, trying to see what life I had now. So there's someone else. Even if there wasn't, I said. It wouldn't be you. Her lips curled. I carried you. I made you. I laughed. You broke me. I rebuilt me. Her face went cold. She shoved the sweater toward me. Fine. Keep pretending you're better. I didn't take it. It dropped to the doormat. Then she did something insane. She reached past me, trying to push the door wider. I reacted instantly. I slammed it. Not on her, but close enough that the air thumped. I clicked the lock. Deadbolt. Chain. From behind the door, I heard her voice, sharp now. Open this. Don't be a coward, I called through the wood, steady. Leave or I'm calling the police. Silence. Then, you're disgusting. Then footsteps. When I opened the door again a minute later, the sweater was gone. But the cookies were still there. Plate abandoned like bait. I picked them up with 2 fingers, walked them to the trash chute, and dumped them without tasting one. It felt better than dessert. Story 9. My ex reappeared on the one day I couldn't afford a scene. The day I was picking up my kid. I opened the door and she was there, leaning on the frame like she still lived in my life. Sunglasses on, smile ready. Hi, she said. I'll make this quick. I glanced at the time. 10 minutes until I had to leave. I could already feel the panic she used to trigger. What do you want? I asked. She took off her sunglasses slowly. I'm worried about our son. That sentence hit my spine like ice. Because she knew exactly how to use our kid as a key. I'm not doing this on my porch, I said. She laughed softly. Your porch. Right. You finally got something. I didn't bite. Say it. She leaned closer. He told me your girlfriend yelled at him. My stomach tightened. I pictured my girlfriend, patient, gentle, the kind of person who packs extra snacks for a kid that isn't hers. It didn't fit. And my ex watched my face like she was reading a menu. Who told you that? I asked. Our son, she said quickly. Too quick. I nodded. Okay, I'll ask him. Her smile twitched. No, don't put him in the middle. He's sensitive. There it was, control. She didn't want truth. She wanted me reacting. I stepped back and opened my door just enough to grab my keys off the hook, then closed it again. "You're not coming in," she scoffed. "I don't want to come in. I just want you to listen." I raised my phone. "Then say it on camera." Her eyes widened. "Why would you do that?" "Because you lie," I said calmly. "And you hate evidence." Her face shifted from concerned mom to furious stranger. "Wow, you really turned into a paranoid loser." I smiled. "Maybe, but I'm a paranoid loser with boundaries." I pointed toward her car. "Go." She didn't move. "If you ignore this and he gets hurt, that's on you." My chest burned. She always ended with a threat wrapped in guilt. I walked to the edge of the porch and opened my front gate. "Leave. Now." She stared at the open gate like it was an insult. Then she marched through it, turned around and hissed, "He'll choose me when he's older." I didn't flinch. "He'll choose whoever doesn't use him as a weapon." I shut the gate with a click that sounded like a verdict. Later that day, I asked my son gently. He blinked and said, "Mom told me to say that so you'd break up with her." And I had to sit down, because the nightmare wasn't back at the door anymore. It was in his mouth. Story 10. The last time I saw her, she screamed in the courtroom hallway that I'd stolen her youth. So when she knocked on my door a year later, I honestly thought I was hallucinating. I opened it, and there she was, smiling like nothing had happened. "I brought something," she said, holding up a tiny box. I didn't step aside. "What is it?" "A peace offering," she said. "Open it." I stared at the box. My brain screamed, "Don't touch it! Don't accept anything." "I'm not opening anything you hand me," I said. She pouted. "God, you're so dramatic." I crossed my arms. "Why are you here?" She exhaled like she'd been rehearsing. "I've been thinking. We were toxic. I take responsibility. I want to apologize." An apology from her sounded like a new brand of scam. I nodded slowly. "Okay. Apology accepted. Leave." Her smile froze. "You didn't even hear it." "I don't need to," I said. "I don't want a relationship with you, good or bad." Her eyes flashed. "So you're just done with me?" "Yes." She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "You know, I could destroy your reputation if I wanted." There she was. The real version. The one that lived in my nightmares. I didn't flinch. I pointed at the camera above my door. "Say that again." She looked up and her face tightened. "Are you recording me?" "Always," I said. She swallowed, then tried to recover with a laugh. "I'm joking." "Wow, you're really obsessed." I leaned forward slightly, calm and clear. "Leave my property." She tilted her head. "Or what?" "Or you'll explain to a police officer why you're threatening me on video," I said. She stared at me, searching for the old weak spots. My guilt, my fear, my need to keep the peace. But the divorce had burned those out of me. Finally, she thrust the little box toward me. "Fine. Keep it." I didn't take it. It fell onto the doormat with a soft thud. I looked down. "Take it," she whispered, venomous. "You'll regret not letting me back in." I smiled, almost gently. "I regret letting you in the first time." Then I did it. I shut the door. Deadbolt. Chain. Through the door, I heard her stand there for a few seconds. Silent, stunned, like a con artist facing a lock they can't pick. Then her heels clicked away. And the quiet that followed felt like winning a war without firing a shot. Story 11. She came back on a Sunday morning, which was almost funny, because Sundays used to be her favorite day to ruin. I was in sweatpants making coffee when the doorbell rang twice in that impatient rhythm I still heard in nightmares. I checked the camera. There she was, holding a leash, except there was no dog. I opened the door with the chain on. "What is that?" She lifted the leash like it was a peace flag. "I found his stuff." "I thought you'd want it." My chest tightened. Our old golden retriever had stayed with her after the divorce. I'd begged to at least visit, and she'd turned it into a bargaining chip. "Where's the dog?" I asked. She blinked once, too slow. "He's with a friend." "Which friend?" She sighed. "Do you have to interrogate me?" "I'm trying to be nice." That word again. Nice. Her favorite costume. I stared at the leash. It wasn't clean. There was dried mud on the handle, like it had been dragged behind a car. My stomach flipped. "What did you do?" Her face sharpened. "Don't start." "What did you do with the dog?" My voice came out colder than I expected. She rolled her eyes. "God, you always loved that stupid dog more than me." There it was. Jealousy. Not grief. Not care. Jealousy. I pulled my phone up. "Where is he?" She took a step forward. "Put that away." I didn't. "Answer." Her smile returned. Thin, cruel. "He ran off." "Maybe if you hadn't abandoned your family." I cut her off. "Leave." She blinked. "Excuse me?" "Get off my porch." She laughed, loud and fake. "You're going to kick me out over a leash?" I stared at her and felt something hard settle in my chest. I'm kicking you out because you showed up here to hurt me. Her expression snapped. You think you're so strong now? I am, I said. Strong enough to not listen. I closed the door on the chain, unlatched it, then opened again just enough to point outward. Off. My property. She stood there, frozen, like she couldn't believe the spell wasn't working. Then she shoved the leash toward me. I didn't take it. It fell to the porch. She hissed. You'll regret this, I nodded. Maybe, but not as much as I'd regret letting you speak to me like this again. I shut the door, locked it, and immediately called the shelter with her name and address. Then I called every mutual friend I had left. Because sometimes kicking her out wasn't the end. Sometimes it was the beginning of getting the truth back. Story 12. I didn't recognize her at first. That was the scary part. New hair, softer makeup, a cardigan instead of her usual I'm a boss outfit. She looked harmless, and she was standing at my door with a baby carrier. My brain went white. I stepped outside and pulled the door shut behind me like my life depended on it. What are you doing? I whispered. She smiled, gentle. I need help. I stared at the carrier. There was a sleeping infant inside. My heart started hammering so hard it hurt. Is that? No, she said quickly. Too quickly. It's not yours. Relief hit, then anger, then confusion. Then why are you here? She tilted her head like she was offended I didn't immediately become her hero. Because you're the only man I ever trusted. I actually laughed. It sounded ugly. You trusted me so much you lied in court. Her smile faltered, but she pushed on. I left him. He's dangerous. I have nowhere to go. I looked at her hands. No bruises. No shaking. Just performance. You need a shelter, I said. Or your family. She swallowed hard. They won't take me. Then that's between you and them. Her eyes narrowed. So you're really going to let a baby sleep in a car tonight? I felt the hook sink in. Guilt, guilt, guilt. And then I saw it. The car in my driveway. Not hers. A new one. Expensive. Clean. No car seat in the back. I nodded at it. Whose car is that? She hesitated. A friend's. Which friend? She stepped closer. Voice sharp now. Why are you interrogating me? I'm scared. I pulled my phone out and began dialing. Okay. Then I'm calling the police and telling them there's a woman with an infant who says she's fleeing danger. They'll help. Her face changed instantly. No. Don't. Why not? I asked calmly. She froze. Because if it was real, she'd want help. If it was a tactic, she'd want privacy. Her voice dropped into a hiss. You're really going to do this to me? I nodded. Yes. She backed up fast, eyes burning. You're heartless. I kept my tone even. I'm not a shelter. And I'm not your next move. She turned and stalked to the car, baby carrier swinging too casually for someone terrified. She threw it in the back and slammed the door. Before she drove away, she rolled the window down and said, Sweet as poison. You'll regret not saving me. I waved once, tiny. I already saved myself, and I went back inside, locked the door, and sat on the floor until my hands stopped shaking. Story 13. The woman from my nightmares didn't knock. She used the key. I heard the lock turn and my entire body went electric. I grabbed the nearest thing, a dumbbell, and stared at the door as it opened. There she was, stepping inside like she owned the air. You changed the locks? She asked, looking genuinely offended. I laughed in disbelief. How the hell do you still have a key? She lifted her chin. I made a copy years ago. You never noticed. That sentence made my stomach twist. Years. The whole marriage. She'd had an extra escape hatch into my life. Get out, I said, voice low. She looked around my living room, eyes landing on a framed photo of me and my brother, on the new couch, on the calm. Wow, so this is what you built without me. Out, I repeated, louder. She smirked. Relax. I'm just here to grab some things. What things? I asked. She stepped toward my hallway like she was touring. You know, my things. I moved between her and the hallway. You don't have things here. Her eyes sharpened. Don't be dramatic. That word. Always that word. I raised my phone. I'm calling the police. Her face snapped. You wouldn't. I stared her down. Try me. She stepped closer, too close, smiling like she loved the fear she caused. You're scared of me. That's cute. My hands shook, but my voice didn't. I'm not scared of you. I'm done with you. She laughed. You'll never be done. I'm the best thing that ever happened to you. I hit call. The sound of the dial tone changed everything. Her confidence wavered. Wait, she said quickly. Don't make a scene. Too late, I said. Leave. Now, she backed toward the door, glaring like she wanted to carve me open with her eyes. You know what? Keep your stupid little life. She stepped out, then turned back and hissed. You'll miss me when it gets boring. I didn't answer. I just shut the door and locked it. When the cops arrived, she was gone. But the report was filed. The lock was replaced. The landlord was notified. And the next day, I did the most healing thing I'd ever done. I changed my number, blocked every mutual, and stopped pretending that peace meant letting a nightmare keep a spare key. Story 14. She waited until I had company. That was her style. Show up when I looked happiest. Like she couldn't stand the idea of me enjoying oxygen without her permission. It was my birthday. 2 friends were in my living room. We had pizza, cheap beer, laughing so hard my cheeks hurt. Then the doorbell rang. I opened the door and my smile died. She stood there holding a small cake with candles already lit, like she'd rehearsed the scene in her head. Her eyes slid past me, straight to the people inside. "Oh," she said loudly, sweet voice. "You have guests. How fun." My friends went quiet behind me. The air changed. I stepped outside and pulled the door mostly shut. "You need to leave," she lifted the cake slightly. "I just wanted to do something nice." I stared at the candles. "Why are they lit?" She blinked innocently. "Because it's your birthday, which you didn't care about for 10 years, I said. Her smile tightened. "Don't be like that." I made an effort. I could hear my friends whispering inside. She could too. She leaned closer. "Invite me in. Let's not make this awkward." That was the threat. "Do what I want or I'll embarrass you." I took a breath. "This isn't awkward. You're trespassing." Her eyes flashed. "Wow, you're really going to treat me like a stranger?" "Yes," I said. "Because that's what you are." Her voice rose, aimed at the room behind me. "I can't believe you'd throw me out after everything we went through." I stepped forward, blocking her view. "Lower your voice." She smiled. "Cruel. Or what? You'll call the police on your ex-wife on your birthday?" I nodded. "Yes." That word hit her like a slap. I turned back toward my friends and said, calm and loud enough for them to hear, "She needs to leave. If she doesn't, I'm calling security." My friend Mark came up behind me. Big guy, calm face. "Everything okay?" My ex's eyes darted to him, then back to me. The audience wasn't giving her the reaction she wanted. She blew out the candles herself, one long breath, then shoved the cake toward my chest. I didn't take it. It dropped onto the porch and smeared frosting everywhere. She hissed, low, "You're humiliating me." I leaned in and whispered back, "You came here to humiliate me." It didn't work. Her face twisted with rage. She spun around and marched to her car, heels clicking like gunshots. I went back inside, locked the door, and my friends just stared at me. Mark said, "Dude, was that her?" I nodded. He looked at the mess on the porch through the window and said, "Happy birthday, man." And for the first time, I believed it. Story 15. The nightmare came back with a mask and a clipboard. I opened my door and saw her standing there in a neat blazer, hair pinned back, holding a folder like she was a professional. "I'm here about a legal matter," she said, crisp voice. I blinked. "What?" She held up the folder. "It's quick, just need your signature." I laughed once. "No." Her expression didn't change. "You should at least hear me out." I didn't move. "Why are you here without a lawyer?" She smiled, tiny. "Because I'm being reasonable." Reasonable from her meant, I'm trying a new angle. I glanced down at the folder. The top page had my name typed big and bold. My heart started pounding. She loved paperwork. Paperwork was her favorite weapon. Confuse, rush, guilt, trap. "What is it?" I asked. "A small correction," she said. "Remember the storage unit? There's a fee issue. If you sign, it releases me from liability." I stared at her. "So you want me to take responsibility for something that's yours?" She chuckled like I was cute. "You always make everything a fight." I nodded slowly. "Leave it with my attorney." Her eyes sharpened. "You don't need an attorney for this." "I do when you're involved." That finally cracked her mask. "God, you're still bitter." "I'm trying to move on." I pointed toward the sidewalk. "Move on somewhere else." She took one step closer, lowering her voice like she was sharing a secret. "If you don't sign, it could get ugly." There it was. The threat. I lifted my phone. "Say that again." Her eyes widened. "Are you recording me?" "Yes," I said. "And you can take your legal matter and walk off my property." She scoffed, recovering her professional tone. "Fine. I'll have my lawyer contact you." I smiled. "Great. That's how it should be." She stared at me like she wanted to scratch my eyes out, then turned sharply and walked away. As she hit the driveway, she called over her shoulder, sweet as poison. "You'll regret not making this easy." I called back, calm. "I regret making anything easy for you." Then I shut the door, locked it, and texted my lawyer. "She's back. New paperwork scam. Just letting you know." Kicking her out wasn't dramatic. It was maintenance, like taking out the trash before it starts to stink up the house again. Story 16. She showed up with a cardboard box labeled in my handwriting. I opened the door, and there she was, smiling like we were swapping holiday decorations instead of trauma. I found some of your stuff, she said. Thought I'd be nice. The box had my old college hoodie, a mug, and right on top, my late dad's watch. My throat tightened. Where did you get that? She blinked innocently. It was in the back of the closet. You never came to get it. I stepped onto the porch and closed the door behind me. You kept my father's watch. She shrugged. I didn't know it mattered. You knew exactly what mattered, I said. Her smile softened into that I'm safe face. I'm not here to fight. I miss how we were. I nodded toward the box. This isn't returning my stuff. This is bait. She scoffed. You think everything is a scheme, because with you, it is. She lifted the watch between two fingers. If you let me in, we can talk like adults. If you don't, I'll just leave it here. In the rain, my stomach dropped, then steadied. She was testing if she could still make me panic. I reached into the box, took the watch gently, and put it in my pocket. Thanks. Her eyebrows shot up. That's it? You're not even going to invite me in? No. She shifted, annoyed. So you'll just take what you want and slam the door? I smiled. Small. That's called boundaries. She stepped forward. You're really going to throw me out like I'm nothing? I pointed at my porch steps. You're not nothing. You're just not welcome. Her face tightened with rage. After everything I did, I cut her off. Leave. Now. She stared at me, waiting for the old me to flinch. I didn't. Finally, she grabbed the box and hissed, Fine. Keep your stupid memories. I watched her walk away, then locked my door and sat down with the watch in my hand, realizing something. She didn't bring my stuff back because she cared. She brought it back to see if she still owned the version of me that begged. Story 17. The knock was polite. That's what made it terrifying. When I looked through the peephole, I saw her, clean, calm, holding a little gift bag and wearing the exact I'm healed smile she used to practice in the mirror. I opened the door without stepping back. Why are you here? She held up the bag. I came to apologize. I laughed at my door. It felt more sincere, she said, voice soft. Can I come in? No. She blinked like she hadn't heard the word before. Okay. Then can we just talk out here? I crossed my arms. Say it. She inhaled dramatically. I'm sorry for how things ended. I was hurt. I acted out. I didn't handle it right. The apology was too smooth. Like a script. I waited. Her eyes flicked past me, into my hallway. Is she home? There it was. The real reason. Who? I asked. Your new girlfriend, she said, smiling. I just want to make sure she knows I'm not crazy. My stomach went cold. You don't get to meet my life. She lifted the gift bag. It's for her. A peace offering. I stared at it. What's inside? She tilted her head. Does it matter? Yes. With her, it always mattered. I pulled my phone out and started recording. Explain why you're at my door with a gift for someone you've never met. Her smile snapped. Are you serious? That's disgusting. No, I said. What's disgusting is you showing up to sniff around my relationship. She took a step closer, voice turning sharp. I have a right to know who's around. You don't have a right to anything here. I cut in. You lost that right when you lost me? Her eyes flashed. So you're really going to treat me like some stranger? Yes, I said. Leave. She held the bag out toward my chest like she could force contact. Just take it. Tell her it's from me. I didn't move. Take it with you. Her face went red. Fine. I hope she finds out what you really are. I smiled, calm. She already knows. That's why she's still here. For a second, she looked stunned, like the old fear wasn't there to feed on. Then she dropped the bag on my porch and walked away, muttering, Unbelievable. I picked the bag up, didn't even open it, and tossed it straight into the trash can by the garage. Some apologies are just Trojan horses with a bow on top. Story 18. She didn't come alone. I opened my door and saw her standing there with a guy behind her. Tall, arms crossed, trying to look like security. My ex smiled like she'd brought a witness to a magic show. Hi, she said. This is Darren. He's my fiancé. Fiancé. The word hit like a slap. Not because I cared, because I knew what it meant. Performance. She leaned forward. We're in the neighborhood, and I thought it would be mature if we cleared the air. I looked at Darren. He avoided my eyes like he'd been told a story where I was the villain. No, I said. My ex laughed. Still dramatic, Darren finally spoke, trying to sound noble. Look, man, she just wants closure. I nodded slowly. Closure doesn't happen on my porch with your backup bouncer. My ex's smile tightened. See? This is why I left. You're hostile. I almost laughed. You left because you thought I'd beg you to stay. Her eyes flashed. Darren shifted behind her, uncomfortable. She changed tactics fast. We're getting married next month, she said sweetly. And I want you to know there are no hard feelings. I stared at her. Then why are you here? She held up an envelope, an invitation. I thought it would be classy. I didn't take it. You want me at your wedding? I want you to see that I'm happy, she said. Too honest for half a second. There it was. Not closure. A victory lap. I looked at Darren. Does he know you're doing this? My ex snapped. Don't drag him into our issues. I nodded. Too late. You brought him. Darren's jaw tight. Babe, what is this? She shot him a warning look, then turned back to me, voice icy. Just take the invitation. I pointed at the sidewalk. Leave. Both of you. Her face hardened. You're really going to kick us out? Yes, I said. Because you came here to poke a bruise. Darren muttered. This is weird, under his breath. My ex hissed at him, then back at me. You'll regret being bitter. I smiled. I'm not bitter. I'm free. I closed the door while they were still standing there, locked it, and watched on the camera as Darren walked away first, shaking his head, while she followed, furious that her little show didn't get applause. Story 19. She showed up the week my promotion hit the company website. I didn't tell her. I didn't tell anyone who might tell her. But somehow, there she was, standing on my porch with champagne like she'd been invited to celebrate. Congratulations, she said, holding the bottle up. I always knew you'd make it. I stared at the label. Expensive. The kind she used to buy with my credit card and call it self-care. How do you know? I asked. She smiled like a cat. People talk. I didn't open the door wider. Leave. Her eyebrows lifted. Wow. Can't even say thank you? For what? I said. Stalking my life? She laughed. Stalking? Relax. I'm proud of you. I nodded slowly. Proud doesn't knock on a door uninvited with alcohol. She took a sip from a tiny plastic cup she'd brought, like she was already on my porch party. I was thinking, maybe we can be friends now. Mature. No drama. I almost choked. No drama? From you? Her smile sharpened. See? You still want to fight? I want you gone, I said. She leaned closer, voice dropping. You know what I want? I want you to admit you're only successful because I pushed you. That sentence landed like a familiar poison. I inhaled once. Then I did something new. I didn't argue. I just said, no. Her face twitched. What? No, I repeated. You didn't push me. You sat on my chest and called it motivation. She stepped forward, angry now. You wouldn't even be here without me. I cut her off by raising my phone. You're on camera. Get off my property. She froze, then laughed sharply. Oh, so now you're one of those guys. Cameras and therapy words. Yes, I said. Because it works. She slammed the champagne bottle down on my porch railing so hard it rattled. Fine. I hope you enjoy your lonely success. I opened the door just enough to point at the street. Go, she stared, waiting for the old me to chase her, to explain, to soothe. Instead, I stepped back and shut the door. A second later, I heard the bottle tip and smash somewhere below the porch. Her last little gift. I didn't go outside. I just made coffee, sat on my couch, and let the silence celebrate with me. Story 20. The worst part wasn't seeing her again. It was hearing her say my mother's name. I opened the door and there she stood, clutching a folder and wearing a serious face. I need to talk. It's about your mom. My blood went cold. What about her? She swallowed dramatically. I heard she's sick. And I feel responsible. I stared at her, confused. Responsible for what? She looked down like she was ashamed. For the stress I caused her. I want to make amends. Amends. The word sounded fake in her mouth. I stepped outside and shut the door behind me. You don't get to use my mother as a doorway back into my life. Her eyes flashed. I'm not using her. I'm trying to be human. I nodded at the folder. What's in that? She held it closer. A letter. For her. I wrote an apology. My stomach twisted. My mom had cried after the divorce. Not because she missed my ex, but because she hated seeing me broken. I imagined my ex's apology being a manipulative novella with subtle blame. No, I said. She blinked. No, you're not giving my mom anything, I said. Not a letter, not a call, not a performance. Her voice rose. You can't control that. I kept my voice calm. Watch me. I pulled my phone out and opened my contacts. If you don't leave, I'm calling my attorney and filing for a no-contact order. Her face tightened. You'd do that? Over an apology. I stared at her. Especially over a fake apology. She stepped closer, eyes wet. I loved your family. I didn't flinch. You loved the access. Her tears vanished. Like a switch. You're so cruel. I nodded once. Leave. She stood there, shaking with anger now. Tell your mom I tried. Tell her you stopped me. I smiled, cold and steady. Gladly. Then I opened my door, stepped inside, and locked it while she was still talking. Through the wood, I heard her spit my name like a curse. Then the hard stomp of her leaving. I texted my mom right away. If she reaches out, don't answer. Block her. I'm handling it. because kicking her out wasn't just protecting me anymore. It was protecting the people she'd learned to use as leverage.